of a rapid transformation, racing towards faster commutes and urban renewal under a multi-billion-dollar infrastructure blitz. Bloomberg's Menaka Doshi reports from Mumbai.
There's something different about Mumbai nowadays. It looks a little bit more modern. A sleek new underground metro line now slices through India's financial capital, turning an hours-long commute into minutes. A coastal road soon to be flanked by gardens and public spaces, and India's longest sea bridge have halved travel time across the city. And a brand new suburban airport, inaugurated this week by Prime Minister Narendra Modi, is set to open in December, ready to welcome 20 million passengers a year.
Navi Mumbai International Airport.
Navi Mumbai International Airport is a project that shows a glimpse of a developed India.
There's more. Another dozen metro lines, east-west tunnels and coastal road extensions are on the way. Together, this transformation carries a price tag of between $20 to $30 billion. It's unfolding alongside a massive push to redevelop slums and aging buildings. For Mumbai's 22 million residents, it's a promise. More homes, faster commutes, and a safer journey to work in a city where overcrowding can be deadly. India's financial capital draws millions in the search of opportunity. Now, these new projects won't erase the slums, the traffic, the overcrowdedness overnight. But they will offer a moment of calm in a city that never stops.
And of course, Menaka joins us now for more on Mumbai's infrastructure push. Menaka, I mean, we can't downplay the importance of infrastructure in India's push for, economic goals. Most times, though, it is playing catch up, isn't it? I mean, India is growing at such a pace that infrastructure just lags behind.
Well, that's right, Has. It isn't just such a pace. It's also because for several years, India's large metropolises ignored the expansion, the migration that was taking place within their cities, on their peripheries, and did not do adequate planning. So I know you're very amused sitting in Singapore that here we are in 2025 in Mumbai celebrating the onset of a metro rail as if it's almost a novelty. But that's the reality right now in Mumbai. The country's commercial capital for decades has been starved of infrastructure, and now we're seeing a blitz, which I think now adds up to roughly $34 billion of spending on bridges, roads, tunnels. Of course, this is an island city, so a lot of this is now going underground to free up space on the top. And hopefully, like I've said, in that short video you saw, that will ease commutes, most importantly, make this a more productive city.
We know that it requires big funding, right? I mean, some of the numbers I see out there, $2.4 trillion needed by India by 2050. I'm just wondering how this is all squaring up, given that, there are concerns about deficits and debt. I mean, are there plans to get the private sector, for instance, involved in funding these projects?
Well, the public sector is already very involved, Has. If you take a look at the federal budget for the last 3 years post the pandemic, the government's form of a stimulus was by allocating a lot more money towards infrastructure. This year, it was about 11 trillion rupees, which in dollars doesn't seem like a very significant amount. But look, that's what our budget is, right? It's 130 or 140 billion dollars. So the central government has been spending significantly on national highways, ports, airports. The state governments have also been putting money towards infrastructure, not as much as they should, as economists will tell you, because many states, to win elections, their political parties have, preferred on cash handouts. But in this metro project, for instance, Japanese investors are involved, the ADB is involved, the state government is helping fund it, the city is picking up some of the tab, and the central government is also picking up some of the tab for some of this infrastructure in Mumbai. So there is a push. Of course, money is never enough.
Like you said, money is never enough. And of course, when you talk about India, you have to make comparisons with China. And when it comes to China, I think they're spending about 14% of GDP on infrastructure. That was what happened back in 2016. And when it comes to, the plan to expand infrastructure, it's led to those ghost cities. So is there concern that this might also happen in India?
Well, there are corners of such concern. I think you would have read an excellent story one of my colleagues, Mihir, did on, airports and how I think from about 140 airports, there are close to a dozen that have been built. And, these are old airport sites that existed either for the armed forces or the government that were refurbished and built to expand connectivity in many regional centers in India. And like I said, about 12 of those 140 hardly or barely see a flight a day or a flight in even a week or a month. So there are some instances of waste, of vanity projects. And I think that brings us back to two core issues that lie at the center of Mumbai's concerns, Bangalore's concerns, where there is a war underway right now against potholes, or Gurgaon's concerns, where we saw significant flooding in the monsoon recently. And that goes down to planning and accountability. And I just want to leave you with one thought. I think about 60% of India now lives in urbanized areas. And, that's where a bunch of our growth comes from. And if we don't get all of this right in terms of infrastructure planning and accountability, it will be a headwind to India's growth.